All right. Oh, shoot. I forgot. When you say one, I'm the person who's supposed to talk, right? Is that how it works? Yeah. Okay. Fix your mic's in front of your face.
I gotta come over here a little bit.
Yeah. There you go. What's up, people? We took a week off. Well, you guys took a week off. I kind of took some time off, screwing around a little bit here and there. But if I'm not doing something like physically, I'm on the computer messing around with something. But yeah, it's been a cool couple of weeks. We did a lot of different things.
And this is the 1 year anniversary of when we started doing this consistently.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was looking
whole
back, that I didn't realize we haven't really been doing this all that long. Sure, it's 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like
year.
it feels like I was inconsistent even then with it.
Yeah, beginning of January. We missed like a few along the way, or Michelle was here for one, Rick was here for one, you had Freddie on for one, but pretty much consistent throughout the year.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, the podcast does pretty well. I mean, for what I expected. I mean, in the beginning, I was trying to figure out, what do I do with this? How do I monetize it? How do I, how do we get sponsors for it? I'm like, what? Screw that. I don't need all that crap. I'm gonna sponsor myself, and just do it. Do it if it's fun. And I like sitting here just kind of talking things out, and you kind of keep me on track. So I like this format, and people seem to respond, reasonably well to it. So we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, we've made a change. We started out on Thursdays
Mm-hmm.
at 11, and then we did a couple afternoons on Thursday. Then one day we did a Friday and had more people tuning in. So I think we found our spot here maybe on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to work on here soon, I want to switch out the Focusrite that we're using and go to an Apollo, so that way hopefully we can have 3 mics. So Bryce can have his little off-camera little snide comments. That would be kind of fun. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, I think I'd also like to. We need better lighting in here. So I've been working on the last couple of days. I'd like to have a dedicated unboxing area with some proper lighting and overhead camera. Problem is I don't have a room to do that, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm going to figure it out.
All right, so we got a lot of good questions here already from Facebook, from Instagram, from the chat. So we'll start off here with a couple that I thought might be interesting. How did you spend your New Year's Eve? Someone on Instagram wants to know. Doozy Cola.
What did we do?
What did you do on New Year's Eve?
We watched Maleficent 2. Went to bed at, 11 o'clock, something like that. New Year's is the dumbest thing ever. I mean, that's for regular people. You guys can have it all you want. I'm not doing that.
I stayed up until about 12:01. That was we didn't do anything exciting either this time.
It's just another freaking day. I don't understand why. It's just an excuse. If you drink a lot, then it's an excuse to do that. It's a reason to do that. It's a reason if you're into fireworks. It's a reason for that. So if you're white trash fancy and you want to go get some fireworks, that's what it's for. It's for if you're into getting wasted, that's another reason. I'm not for any of those, so there's kind of pointless.
So that's how he spent his New Year's Eve. Let's see. This one is from CMAC on Instagram. If I live in the Northeast, should I wait until spring to get window tint, or does it not matter?
No, I don't think it matters. I mean, it's inside the car, so a window tinter is going to clean the exterior of the windshield anyway. Prep in order to shrink the film to get it to conform to the curvature. So yeah, I mean, you can do it whenever. I would think of doing it in the winter, you'd probably have better, scheduling. It'd be easier to get in because other people are probably waiting. But yeah, I'd get it knocked out now. Sometimes the sun is harsher in the winter than it is in the summer.
Yeah, it might also depend on where you live for that too. Let's see. Jonathan Edwards, he chimed in on Instagram, said, I have to say, the retrospective video you did for Inside the Hex is easily the best example of that type of content you have done to date. The inside perspective behind the history of the channel as you go through the years is fascinating and definitely a worthwhile look into how OG got to where it is today. So
that's funny. I felt like I didn't have, when I was making that, I'm like, this video sucks. Like I didn't have the kind of intelligent commentary that I normally do. I was just I was stumbling through it with you and just making a comment here or there, talking about, you got to see, Inside the Hex, you got to see some of the videos I had to take down from Wealth Management, and I thought about maybe I should come June I'm going to re-release those and put those in the Inside the Hex and you'll get to see the ridiculousness of why I left my wealth management career behind on just the simplest, I thought, rather interesting points of a day in the life of me that got me walked out the door. So those, got to see those videos, and I got to kind of talk through what I'm planning and stuff like that. So it was kind of fun. I came up with that. I'm like, I'd really like to go through the videos. I'm like, well, why don't I just do that for Inside the Hex and do it on the thing? I didn't look. Did we gain any new members?
Yeah, I didn't look yet either.
While I put the little clip up about that. But I'm really pleased with the content. I hope everybody else is too. I mean, I don't want to ram like weekly this or bi-weekly or 2 times a week. I just want to put stuff up that makes sense. And I have an innate desire, this innate clock that ticks when I know that I want to do something. But I also, if I miss a day here or there on the Inside the Hex, I mean, I'm not charging $600. I'm charging $60. So I think shoot, if there was someone I was following and interested, and they had something like that, and I paid $600 for it, as long as it gave me a couple of things in a year, I'd be happy with that. So I try not to put too much pressure on myself, but just know that I'm going to only create content when I have something to say, which is quite often. But if I don't have any hex cast to make, I just won't do it, because I don't want to just do it just to do it.
Yeah, and if you want just kind of the brief preview, Matt touched on it there, but it's in the Facebook group. I think it's like 4 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little snippet, and then it's closer to an hour long in the Inside the Hex, where you go through all the past 5 years worth of videos.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, from D. Donegan on Instagram. Congrats, Matt and OG crew. Can you talk about scaling over the last year? How did you estimate your employee hires at the beginning?
First of all, I don't really like that term, the term scaling. It's just, it's I don't know, it's too in, I guess. I like to be counter. I don't know how many people I'd really intended to get, just like, we're working toward hiring two more people. I just do it when it feels right. And every single time I've done it, I'm like, I really shouldn't take this risk. When I hired you, when I hired my parents, when I hired Bryce, when I hired Mike, every single person I've hired, and when I hired these 2 new people, I'm like, oh boy, I don't know if we're going to be able to pay for them. But I look at each person rather than just, well, I've got $12 an hour. And I'm gonna apply it to that because I'm behind. And so I'm looking at each hire as they'll grow into that potential. So every single person I hired, it wasn't a reaction. It was being proactive. And so I'll give you, for example, the spot that we're hiring for Obsessed Garage Design is being. Now, there's a role for them, so it's something for them to do, but I'm being proactive in that I'm going to start to work toward building a design facility, which is going to require people that can service and help with technical support of products, and also to help, put together, designs for people. And so I'm looking at the proactivity of, okay, Kyle's up to his eyeballs. We could be more efficient and answer people more quickly if I had this person, and then we'll grow into that role, the roles that I have in mind. And then I'm applying a sort of virtual number to those people. Like if I'm going to pay someone $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000, how can we quantify that in revenue? Then in actually marginal profit. How much profit can that person? How many times their cost can they generate? And I have this sort of virtual number in my head that if each person can generate 3x of what what I'm paying them, then that's a very good return for me. Risk versus reward, because there is a risk to every single person that I hire. It's less money that. And I think a lot of companies make a mistake in this, and that you look at it as, well, that's $40,000 less than I'm going to make. I look at it as, well, that's going to make me $120,000, which I'm going to net 80 in that proposition. or more, or hopefully there's even more leverage. The other thing that I think is really important, and I've learned this from my coaches specifically, is that no one person here is doing all of the jobs. No one person is suited for that. And so even myself, I'm not suited to do each person's job that's here. And I don't have a job. I have a position. My position is to, oversee, think bigger picture, think vision, think longer term. And so if I get caught up in the weeds of, managing the finances of the business, I'm very keen and very aware of what they are. And I like to push the boundaries of that, just like I like to push the boundaries of what we could do from delivering on selling a product. But no one person can thread the entire picture. The issue with doing that is then chances are that person's going to see how much money I'm making in the long run. And they're going to say, well, shoot, I did that, or I could go do that, and they'll try to leave and go replicate it. And so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for people that are really good at their position or their job, their specific task, and can they generate 3 times what I'm paying them or more, or can I at least attach that some form of revenue to then. I'm not doing this physically, I'm doing this mentally, just kind of thinking through, because it's hard to attach how much revenue does Ted generate. Well, Ted generates revenue by allowing me to not have to get in there and pack and ship. And so we saw a very clear flaw in our armor in that we outsold our manpower in Black Friday, and even the last few weeks of catching up with different products that have come in. When these invoices are sitting in front of us, the Mosmatic stuff and all that comes in, we need more manpower to ensure that I don't have to leave the clouds and come back down to earth here and do the doing. Same thing with each person's position. It doesn't do us much good for Kyle to leave his position to come and aid another position. And so at some point, people won't have the ability. They won't know how to do each other's position. In a small business, it's kind of hard. But as using that word scale, you shouldn't let one shoe drop in order for another to stay intact. So we shouldn't let future sales drop in order to take care of today's. We shouldn't have to. And so we're gonna build some efficiencies. We're gonna build another packing and shipping team, and we're gonna do that over the course of the next year or so. We're also gonna build out a team of Obsessed Garage Design, because where I want to go, we're gonna need to staff it from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, basically. Which I'm looking at as that'll be a way for me to get 12 hours of technical support every day. So the person will have a dual role of being able to be there for retail sales, but also have, and that's why I think email is much, much better suited than having a phone line, because email will be, you can respond to in between the gaps. So if I have a staff of 3 or 4 that man those hours, I can also make sure that they generate their 3x, because they're not just selling flooring to people here locally. So hope that makes sense.
I have one question here that came up from 2 folks in the chat, One Whistle and Bring Your Wood Screws. Have you installed the DSC controller in the Corvette yet? And if so, what are your opinions on it?
I was planning on getting into it today. I'll probably do it tomorrow. I've kind of gotten down a rabbit hole in the interior, cleaning up a lot of the Alcantara to see if I can repair some of it. But I'll do it tomorrow. It should be a pretty simple install. You just pull a couple of pieces off the fender well, and I know it's kind of tight in there to get it up in there, but I'm going to put it in. The problem is I won't be able to give you much of an assessment until I get the headers. I'm waiting on the Billy Boat headers to come, so because I can't steer the darn car. So we're not going to have too much of a before and after, at least for a little while. I'll do the install. I just want to get all the installed parts done that I can right now. I also want to probably do the intake this weekend, maybe. Bryce and I were talking about doing his suspension on his Miata, and then give you some more driving assessments. So this time I'm going to have to split it up, do a part, or do all the parts and then do separate driving impressions of each thing. We had to send the GT3 RS back because they sent me a 991.1. We got a little confusion there of which type of car I have. So we sent the 991.1 back so we get the 992 controller back. It's a different controller because of the difference in the axle lift in the front.
All right, Tundra Whisperer wants to know, how many fingers do you fit into the wash glove that you use on your wheel? I typically use a larger size glove. When you use that
The lambskin?
Yeah.
All 4. It's almost a little too big for all 4. So all 4 fingers, and I kind of spread them out to hold it onto my hand. That's how I do it.
Let's see, any update on when the PCL Air products will be in the store from Tim here?
Yeah, it's taking a little longer because they have a new lock-on chuck, a new swiveling stainless, really nice version. And so when I was placing my order, I said to him, well, why can't we just put the new chucks on all of the current devices, and then I'll have something that doesn't exist. He said, we could probably do that. And I said, well, let's do it. So it's going to take another couple of weeks to get those done. We're going to have, I think it's 6 different parts. So we have the Acura one with a angled, it's just push on chuck, and then we'll have one with a swiveling angled snap-on chuck to get rid of that weird push pin thing. So it'll be the latest version of the PCL connection. We'll also have the tire depth, the little portable digital gauge, the analog gauge, and then again we'll have 3 versions: 2 Acura ones and 1 DTI, the less accurate gauge. So 1 DTI with the new chuck, 1 Acura one with a new chuck, and then one with the angled push-on chuck. So you have several different versions.
All right, Chris here in the chat says, I know it's coming, but any update on when we can order some tool grid pieces?
Yeah, I think it probably shipped yesterday or the day before, or today, or sometime around now. They were gathering and pulling the order to ship it. So it's paid for. It's going to be shipped. All the product line is created. It's going to be very. You're on your own and figuring out what you need. And then once we get it here, get through the initial orders, then we're going to start building out packages. I've also made too many videos all at once, so I don't want to ram it down people's throats. So I'll give all the early adopters the ability to. Many of you have watched the videos and know how to buy stuff really well, so you'll know what to get. And then I'll start to come up with some more specific recommendations. And then second, third rounds of orders will have specifically cut grids for Sabre cabinets and Sonic cabinets. I also need to figure out and give you some examples of what you would do when you have a narrow drawer, because the tall drawers are how you fit most of the things. And I know most people don't have those kind of drawers, so we're going to have to come up with some solutions for that.
Let's see. Epiphany Detailing asks, do you have any experience with G-Technic i1? Do you ever plan to add it to the store?
I've used it. That's the interior stuff. No, I mean I think that the combination of the different interior stuff I have is a little better. It's not bad. I like the finish that the P&S leaves behind with just a regular interior cleaner. The Swissvax leather cleaner is freaking awesome. I really love that. The Swissvax leather milk is color lock, so it's made by color lock, but the cleaner is very different. Same thing with the brush. The brush is made by color lock. But I really like right now the interior combination of products that I have. But never say that I won't add it. But right now, those are the ones that I like the most.
All right, and then follow-up question with that. Also, if there is a product from a manufacturer that you order that isn't in the OG store, is it worth it to email about for a special order? So, like if he wanted to get something that he knows G-Technic has that we don't carry. Or we do special order stuff sometimes. We
can. I mean, if you were going to add it to a bigger list, but I don't want to inconvenience you because it'll take you a lot longer. I'd really appreciate it, and we can certainly get it. But if you really wanted to honor the source, or I guess I wouldn't be the source if I don't carry it. If you were buying, let's say you're buying 22 other things, and you wanted this one extra thing. And you wanted to just do it all at once. The problem is then it would hold up that whole order. So I would suggest probably just ordering that up on, from them direct or Amazon or whatever, wherever you can get it quickly.
Yeah, for bigger things like for certain Cox hose reels.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. Yeah, because you're going to have, wherever you order from, they're going to have to order it anyway. But something like, like I wanted some Sonax Cut Max. I didn't even order it myself. I just ordered on Amazon. I didn't even contact the company to order it because it would have taken so much longer to try to get it than just getting it from someone who has it in stock.
Let's see. Wesley wants to know, have you had any hands-on time yet with the Flex PXE 80 polisher yet?
No, just at SEMA for a few minutes. I was going to go. I went the other day to buy them, but I guess I don't know if they're still pre-order. I'm sure I could probably get one early, but I was just waiting for AutoGeek to get them and just buy them from there or buy them from somewhere else. But yeah, I haven't played with it yet, other than just for 2 seconds at SEMA.
Let's see. Martin says, "Hi Matt, happy new OG year. We who own older Beamers, now that the interior trim becomes tacky with age, do you have any suggestions on products to prevent this?"
I don't think there really is any way to prevent. I think that's more of a design flaw. I think what I'd be inclined to do is, send them to body and have them painted, have them, bondoed and painted or whatever, finished and painted. And that's probably what I would do if I had an older car. But I guess, a lot of times, unless it's just your older collector car, I think, a lot of people have the older car for a reason because you can't just spend, $2,000 to have someone paint all the stuff. But that's what I would do is I would want to have it, or I'd try to get a hold of new trim.
Michael wants to know, are you getting the new Mac Pro?
I already got it. Mac Pro. No. Sorry. I thought I meant MacBook Pro.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we really don't need it at this point. I don't even like messing around 4K. It's just shooting 1080p. So now we don't have any plans to. I'd love to have that monitor, but I don't have an office, so maybe if I build out my home office later this year. But yeah, right now I don't have any aspirations to get it. But that thing's pretty sick. I've been watching all kinds of videos on it.
Let's see. We have some feedback here from Vigor Auto Detailing. Hey guys, I have a very large hand. I can fit all 4 fingers into the mitt. I love the lambskin and it works very well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Hi Matt. This is from Brian. I made a comment on the recent Pressall update video. As soon as I did, I realized I should try a bottle before I comment, and I'm glad I did. So good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, there's a long way to go. So I don't want to overplay them, but they work. I mean, as long as the thing that was so shocking with them is that we got them all and they didn't freaking work. And we we thought it was just some it was 1 or 2 chemicals, and then it just expanded out to it was just pressure on the tip, and so we've at least been able to give 10-cent tips to replace them. And then we have a little dribble on some of them. So I haven't heard from them, but apparently there's some major strike going on in Europe right now, shipping and production and everything. So our freaking Mosmatic, that's something we got to put up here today. A Mosmatic was supposed to be here in 3 days, and apparently it's sitting at port in France somewhere, just sitting there, and no one's working, which is typical European.
As French people are on strike, it appears.
Yeah, apparently that's where it goes. The product goes out. So now we're looking at February 18th. God dang it. So we'll probably have a small mutiny on our hands, but what do you want me to do?
Shane asked about the beanies, if they're in yet, and then Bryce let him know. Beanies are on the way. This has been the most difficult apparel item I've ever worked with. So far, we'd have 3 different revisions to get the best quality, and we actually I spoke with them today about that, so those are coming soon. Matt, I have an E92 M3 and was wondering what your opinion is on the best exhaust setup for it. Brick City Whips in the chat.
I think that you want to go catless, unless depending on where you're at. I think you want to go catless, so I think you want a quad resonated mid pipe, and I think the only one It's either Borla or what's the other one? MagnaFlow. I think it might be MagnaFlow that makes one with quad resonators, because that gets rid of some of the raspiness. So you want catless, both primary and secondary cats removed, quad resonators, and then you want just some sort of rear section. And a lot of rear sections are good. The M Performance is pretty good. Shoot, even doing the bypass internally in the factory exhaust. I have the Dynon, which I think sounds really nice. The only thing I like on the Dynon is that 2 of the tips are just fake tips. Another one that's good is I don't like the Acura, but I do like the what's the one that's like an Acura replica? It'll come to me. The Iceman I wasn't a huge fan of. I was a huge fan until I got one. Another one that's really nice is the Evolve exhaust. I just don't like valves on them. I don't want it to have valves, and I think the Acura is not very good. I know everybody loves the Acura. It's one of those things that it's really expensive and it's really high quality and it works really well. There's no disadvantage to it other than it doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sound. So I've never been a big fan of that, the Acura option for $7,500. So I like a quad resonated mid pipe, and you can't buy the Dynon; they don't make it anymore. But the Dynon is what I have, and then the Dynon rear section really works well.
Let's see. H. Nichols wants to know, hey, Matt, any experience with hydrophobic coatings for convertible tops? I currently have C-Quartz, but didn't get great longevity.
I wouldn't mess with that stuff. I just put Aerospace 303 on it. You can't remove those things, so you put this weird... I hate putting things on fabrics that you can't... at least on the paint, you could polish it off, but if you have some discoloration, so there's nothing you can do about it but replace the darn top. You don't need something coating your leather or your fabrics. You don't want that stuff. So I say just put Aerospace 303 on it once every 2 months after you wash it with regular car shampoo, and then it'll stay really nice doing it that way.
Steve Esho in the chat here says, all caps, love you, Matt. With 6 exclamation points. So there you go.
Well, that's cool.
Mario, is the SwissVax leather cleaner stuff back in stock yet? Still waiting on my Black Friday order.
Just came frickin' today. Oh my word, this Europe crap. I'm embarrassed by that one. I made Chris and my dad open everything back up for stock, thinking we would have it like in a day, and it's been frickin' 2 months. But Brian, literally, they're out there packing them right now.
Right this moment.
So that was the one product hold up on everything. So thanks for being patient for those that are, that they're super cool about it. And I know we split up some of them for some people who needed the stuff immediately, but most people were cool to just sit tight, probably wondering what the heck kind of podunk operation are these guys running here, where, we had one product that just didn't come. It finally got through customs, and Brian came and dropped it off today, and we'll probably need to order more of it by the time we get through this.
He was kind enough to drive it up in person.
Yeah.
Drop it off here. Ryan Lippy says, hey, Matt, something I may have missed. With ceramic coatings on trim, what do you do or use to remove high spots or the coating itself at the end of its lifespan, since most trim can't be polished?
Yeah, I don't know. I never had a car long enough to have to revisit that. I think it'd probably be better, but okay with just, cleaning it up with some isopropyl alcohol and just reapplying it. And those higher areas will hopefully just kind of blend together. It probably won't bond to itself, but the adjacent area where the coating's no longer there, you'd hope that it would kind of just level out. But again, I haven't had one long enough to really matter. I think that, again, it's very different than paint. So I find that the coating probably won't reject as much as it would if it were on the paint.
Let's see. Your friends at Blendmount are asking, did you get a speeding ticket yet?
Yeah, the thing's done. The video is up tonight. So photos and videos will be up on Flickr. So for the Corvette. I can't speed in the Corvette because it doesn't steer. I can steer left, but just not right. Can't turn right. So yeah, it's in. I ordered another unit in R7 for the GT3, so I'll be doing that. But you'll love it. I jacked up the mirror tap and couldn't, because I didn't have the right one, because I told you I didn't need one, and I couldn't get it to fit in there. And then I finally abandoned that and hardwired the thing all the way to the fuse box in the back. So it makes for more fun content, especially the Corvette people that like to accuse me of being stupid. Yeah, that's always a good one.
Let's see. Mark wants to know, are the new Pressall bottles, 750 milliliters, supposed to leak still?
I think some of them probably can.
Yeah, we haven't had as many.
Yeah, it's been a much smaller percentage, but it's likely. I mean, it's a spray bottle, so that's the disadvantage of these things is they're not perfect. So I'm hoping that we can figure out through longer term testing, figure out what the deficiencies are so that we can make them great.
Terrific Flow chimed in here and says, in France, the major train company is on strike for weeks. So that could also be playing.
That is our issue, yeah.
Let's see. Matthew wants to know, what do you think about the Adams pressure washer? Matthew, we have a video about that, actually.
Yeah, it's garbage. Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, but if you want to see the video, it's on our YouTube channel. Just search for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Andrew wants to know, anything you're excited to see or want to come out of Consumer Electronics Show next week?
No, nothing specific. I'd like to continue to see larger direct view organic LED displays. I refuse to call it OLED. That's freaking stupid. Call it OLED or organic LED. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they continue to evolve and get bigger. I'd like to have like a 100-inch direct view display. Also, the other thing that's really interesting to me is these low, what do they call it? Short throw projectors. You just mount it on your like coffee table in front of the screen. And so as prices come down on those like laser projectors and things like that, that's a really interesting technology. But audio, I don't think there's anything remarkable, changing there. So it's more, video, I think, that would be of interest to me, getting a bigger display in my home theater for the 2 movies I watched since I put the 77-inch in there.
Obsessed Mobile Detailing wants to know, did you make that phone call to Adams yet for the rolling seat?
No, I didn't.
No,
I probably should.
All right, let's see. I have a question from someone on Instagram. How many drops of Jescar correcting compound and Sonax Perfect Finish do you prefer using after priming microfiber foam pads?
2.
2 drops.
Mm-hmm. 2 like pea, a little bit bigger than pea size, like lima bean sized.
Josh Mawson on Instagram says, what's the best advice for correcting with microfiber compared to foam? I'm yet to use microfiber pads, but want to try.
So microfiber is quite a bit more aggressive generally than foam, and more consistent than the like heavier cutting foams. You tend to have less marring, and they tend to finish down a little better. But you need to make sure that every fiber is coated with product. So you have to spread it around. You can't just prime on the fly like you can with foam. Otherwise, you'll just end up with 2 pea spots, and you won't end up with as much, the product spreading evenly. So you want to spread it around like butter the pad. You also need to spray out or you need to blow out microfiber after pretty much every pass, because microfiber's sole job is to grab and hold. And so you just need to clean it out more, blow it out more, and you need to, when you're priming it, you need to make sure you're getting all the fibers. And then, just like foam, you don't want to just keep rolling your whole car. You'll lose effectiveness. You want to swap out pads every couple of panels.
All right, let's see here. Has Matt ever used Hydro 2 Light? If so, what are his thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I used it for a long time, for several years. The problem with those type of spray-on or water-activated silicon dioxide sealants is that they tend to build up over time. So I found that you would end up with contamination sooner. So you need to decon your car sooner. And at times, if you tend to get buildup, I think Can Coat's a little better than Hydro 2 Light. I haven't used Can Coat a lot. I've used it maybe once or twice. I think so. I think Can Coat is the different version of Geon's version of it. But I find that those tend to get kind of white residue buildup over time if you don't. Especially on things like satin wheels and stuff like that. But it's a good idea. It's a good product. It's also good if you're using it on a coating rather than a standalone. I find it tends to build up a little less. But again, I find that you're not getting a real layer of protection. You're just getting some silicone bond to the surface, which is changing the water's contact angle. But you don't get that real slick lack of surface tension that you would get from a true resin-delivered, solvent-based coating.
Matt Tomlinson chimed in here in the chat. He was here earlier today. He said, "Cool to get to see the place a little bit ago, man. Looking forward to OG 2.0 in February, according to your mom."
Yeah, it'll probably be closer to March when we move out. We should close on the building around February 7th. I have contractors. Brian Orr is going to come in and do AC and build a couple of rooms in the gym, and then we'll get start moving stuff over HQ. So it'll be kind of a cool video series. We have a lot of different series coming up here with a lot of interesting things.
Let's see. What effect does polishing at a higher speed have versus maybe at a 4?
You'd have more heat. So remember that a polisher, Rupes specifically, has given you headroom, for if you needed it. It wouldn't make sense to be polishing with the accelerator pegged. So they give you headroom if you needed to speed up or slow down. And so their targeted range of, their effective duty cycle would be somewhere around 4.5 speed. That's the general recommendation. But they do give you some, like if you say you're polishing glass or something, but the byproduct of more speed is heat. Sometimes heat is good, sometimes it's bad. And so in general, they're recommended, or the what they've tuned or tuned the electric motor for is for a speed of 4, but there is headroom in case you needed it. The other companies that copy them have put zero thought into it. They're just copying Rupes, so they don't know any of this crap. They just they don't even know why Rupes put a darn scale on the thing. They just copied it. So, we need to put a speed scale with a straight line on it. The straight line doesn't even mean anything to them. It's just the Chinese saying, well, I guess that's what Americans want, so we'll just put that on there.
We have a thought-provoking question here from our friend David Plotz. You've said before that if you were a car, you see yourself as a GT3.
I aspire to be a GT3.
Okay. In the animal kingdom, where does your persona most closely align? How about you, Chris?
Sloth.
Other staff.
Eeyore. Is that part of the animal kingdom? Eeyore.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a little bit more spunky, a little more peppy than I used to be. But my friends used to call me Eeyore. Yeah. I don't know.
I have to think on that one. That's a deep question. All right, well, while we're thinking about that, Joey Justice wants to know, how did the garage giveaway go?
Yeah, it went perfectly. So I've got to, get with Emmanuel. He'll get with me as my cell phone when he's ready to sort of book and schedule. So the what happened was, we sat down. Ryan and I sat down at Christmas, and we generated the people. And I'm not going to lie, I almost hit generate again because I knew that Ryan wouldn't be able to pronounce Emmanuel. So it's a good thing I didn't, because he's the perfect candidate. So he won the garage. So I go over after getting off the live, take a deep breath. Bryce and I go check to see who won and where they live. And he lives in Hawaii. So Michelle starts jumping up and down like she's going. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this garage is going to cost me $150,000 to get all this stuff out there, but this is going to be great for the video. And then I called him, and his wife was going freaking nutty in the background, just running around, yelling and screaming at him and just crying. And I don't know what she was doing, but she was going crazy. It was so fun. And they're actually moving from Hawaii to Virginia. And they just bought their new house is being constructed, or will be starting construction here soon. So they're going to have a blank slate, brand new house, brand new garage in Virginia. It's freaking perfect. This is going to be awesome. He's in the OG Core Facebook group and has been following for a long time. And then the other guy that won, Lance Smith, he lives in Missouri. He's bought a bunch of stuff from me. And so he won the package, and so he'll be getting. People are out of town and stuff, so he'll be getting back with me this week to let me know he wants to do some Sonic cabinets and things in addition. So he he already has a Crensless, so we're gonna apply some whatever I was gonna give him on the Crensless stuff toward whatever other tools and things that he wants. He's like, can we do that? I'm like, heck yeah, we can do whatever the heck we want. I made this up. We'll just do whatever we need. So, and I've been scrambling to get all the VinWiki stuff out. But yeah, the garage giveaway is freaking awesome. So we're looking at probably, he closes in May. So we're probably looking at June And what I'm thinking I might do is we might set up another garage giveaway to be in mid garage giveaway while I'm doing the garage, install. So
that makes sense.
Yeah,
People
but
can see
we'll get some videos coming up here when Emmanuel and I fly him down here, so that we can sit down and design everything, and so we'll have some content around that coming up here.
Yeah, and when on the little screenshot that you did, it shows the winning entry basically, and on his order, he ordered 1 shirt and 1 hat, and that was his winning.
I thought
entry.
he was a Hex Plus too.
He is, but that's the one. It pulled it from that order.
Got it.
The winning entry came from that single order with a shirt and a hat.
Shirt and a hat, yeah.
1 shirt and 1 hat got it done for him.
It's funny, we did, there's one guy, Amir, who had he bought like $3,000 worth of shirts and hats and stuff. And I just did, when we were doing our testing, and I did 30 tests just to, regenerate. And he got 3 out of 30. So he had a 1 in 10 chance to win, and it just, luck of the draw. So that was pretty interesting. Like he had very, very high odds to win it. Yeah. So for those of you in the next giveaway, everybody spend $3,000, because then you'll get really high odds to do it. And how much profit what did we profit on that?
It was around 30-ish. I'll show you the spreadsheet later. I don't have it on me right now, but it's about 30,000.
That was assuming we pay Mike to install and attorneys. Did we factor in my travel and things like that?
Yep.
So, $30,000. I want to make $300,000. How do I do that?
I'm not sure.
The next garage giveaway, I want to make $300,000. We need to come up with better products or something. That way I can build my garage for free.
Well, and it also depends on how crazy you go once you get to this brand new house, and you might spend more than we planned, so we might not make any money at all. We'll see.
Shoot.
Let's see. Have you had a chance, Matt, to use any of the other, how do you pronounce that, WoWo, the rag companies, like shampoo or whatever that was?
No, I haven't. They sent me the shampoo and the interior cleaner. I haven't used any of the other stuff.
Adam says, what's the status on the Mosmatic pre-orders? Adam, we touched on that a little while ago. The Frenchmen are holding things up.
Yeah, so we're looking at, they said February 18th to the 25th.
Yeah.
It's not on the water yet. It's just sitting there on a train somewhere, sitting in the Mosmatic in Switzerland, waiting. God dang it.
Let's see. From Instagram, Wayne wants to know, Matt, on a normal maintenance wash that includes wheels, light interior wipe down, no cameras for filming, etc., how long does it take you? Just curious.
About an hour and a half, hour and 15 to an hour and a half to do it. Maybe a little less depending on if I'm actually doing the full wheels or if I'm just doing because a lot of times on the carbon ceramic cars, I'll just do a quick, just foam it and just do a quick superficial wash. But yeah, it's between an hour and an hour and a half generally.
JRM 2389 wants to know, have you thought of or started the process yet of testing various steam cleaners, expensive versus inexpensive, etc.?
No, I mean, I'm using my Dupre out there right now, which is pretty nice, I think. There are quite a few of them out there. I don't know, the Dupre seems to make a lot of sense to me. I was listening back again to Naval's podcast. They just kind of occasionally they'll take all of their podcasts and put it in like a 3-hour episode. So I kind of walk around listening to it. This is probably the 4th time I've listened to it. And Naval talks about this a topic of specific knowledge. People with specific knowledge have a significant leg up over others. And what he refers to as specific knowledge is something that you have an innate appetite for. You're suited, your skill set or talents are suited to pursue that. And when you have specific knowledge, that you should pursue that to the nth degree. And specific knowledge affords you abilities that other people may not have if you're just working a position. So I get this all the time where people just assume that I didn't do the research, or they assume that I'm only doing it or picking a product because I can sell it. But there's years and years of knowledge that I've acquired through this primordial soup of, I have an engineering background, I have a background in finance, and I've had some interest in those topics, but those weren't areas of specific knowledge for me. Those were just creating the area that I have specific knowledge about, which is this area of products around these passions or interests that I have. And so I have a very, very high probability of skipping steps and being able to purchase a proper product. And it may only take me 2 or 3 tries, and sometimes 1 try, to find the product that I would feel comfortable then selling. So I can use that knowledge in order to skip steps. For instance, I got a lot of heat because Bryce and Mike screwed me up and didn't do any demo that we shot of the darn bucket filler. So, and one person jumps on, and then the bandwagon jumps on. It'd be nice to see a demo. It's only because they saw that in the comment. They never even thought of it. But I don't need to show a demo. I'm telling you what's good. And so this product, there was a lot of people who say, well, why don't you do this more often? How do you know you're not missing out on a bunch of other inexpensive products that are suitable? Because everybody wants their cheap Home Depot product, or their cheap Flexzilla hose, or their cheap whatever. They want it to be, adequate, because that's all they can afford, and they're afraid that if the more expensive product is better and theirs isn't adequate, that they're not adequate, or something like that, some subconscious, better than or less than feeling. And so I just have an innate, based on all of this work and all this trial and error, that most of the time I know when something's good. And so this, like the bucket filler or the fire hose nozzle, this one didn't slip through the cracks only because, some dude called the darn lady and had him send it to me. But in general, I'm able to skip a lot of steps and just go right to purchasing the specific product. What was the original question? How did I get down that tangent?
It's a great question, because now I forget.
Okay, never mind. So yeah, I hope you understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being able to choose a product, a specific product, and whether it needs to be expensive or inexpensive doesn't really matter. We were talking about steam cleaners, and so the Dupre to me seems to make the most sense, and I'd be willing to bet that I'm probably right. I might be wrong. It might be something just remarkable, but the Dupre is probably more than acceptable, if not possibly, the best or one of the best.
Eric Miller asks, how's the diet going now that the cleanse is done?
Pretty good. I've been watching a lot of Sam, the cooking guy. So now I'm in a bit of a probably calorie, considerably more calorie dense than I was before. But I've been watching a lot of his stuff and cooking I've been working on my steak game. But I've been avoiding the junk, so I've been eating probably a little bit more calorie content than I should, but I've been training pretty hard. Like today I'll run and work out. So I'm running every other day to prepare for marathon training, which will start in February 1st is my intent. So I'm probably 231 right now. So I got down to 223. A lot of that's superficial because you're on virtually no calorie content and salt. And so I'm not really managing macros or calorie intake. I'm just eating what seems right and feels right. I'm at the point of hunger, but I'm not so deficient that I can't train. So my training's starting to really ramp up, and I'm starting to be able to push. In a few more weeks, I'll be able to kind of bury myself in workouts, and that's what I like to do, is kind of be able to go hard as long as possible, and so I'm doing pretty well.
All right, Mark wants to know, have you gotten a chance to review the Prevost garden hose handle that you saw at SEMA?
It's sitting on the table here. Brad just sent me one, so I want to try it out. It does have really odd, it has BSPP fittings, so you would need a Prevost coupler on the end of the hose in order to make it work. So unless we did some sort of adapter, and those BSPP to NPT adapters aren't, or I guess you need to go to GHT, are not so common. Especially we would need a male to female But I don't know. I'm gonna try it out. See, it's huge. The thing's massive. But yeah, I got one to go test it out at some point here in the next couple of days or weeks.
All right. Speaking of BSP, Don't Skip Pudding, that's a great name on Instagram, says, I'm in the UK and have recently purchased my Krenzler pressure washer and SGS 28 gun. Now I'm in the search for stainless steel fittings. These seem very hard to find, and my searches led me to some US stores. My question relates to threads. The US fittings are NPT, whereas in the UK we have BSP.
Mm-hmm.
Are these two standards completely incompatible?
Yep.
Or, with some Teflon tape, can they be forced to play nicely together?
No, they're not going to work. Yeah, you need NPT. NPT needs to go to NPT, and BSP needs to go to BSP, or you need to adapt it somehow. And there aren't a lot of adaptive changes for British straight pipe versus national pipe thread. So, and there's BSPP and BSPT. So there's tapered threads and parallel threads. NPT is always tapered. So it kind of the threads they get closer together toward the bottom, and that's how the threads lock together. So yeah, they're not compatible at all. I mean, you could probably try to fudge it, but you'll end up with leaks, I think.
That bearded veteran says, Matt, did I hear you correctly at the beginning of the podcast that OGHQ is going to the new building instead of CrossFit Dialed In?
No, CrossFit Dialed In is going to the new building, and we're moving spreading this out, if you will, in this building.
Ultimate Focus RS MK2 NL. Hello from France, and Happy New Year to all. Ultimate Focus, could you convince your friends to get back to work over there in France for us? Thomas says, Happy New Year from Jack's Beach. Hey, you're not too far away, Thomas. Hope I can make it down soon. Please do. Related to that, are we going to have another open house anytime soon?
Yeah, we were just talking about that last night.
It was in February last year.
Yeah, I'd like to have one soon. So it would make sense to have it when we get over on the other side. So it would probably be like April.
Michael wants to know, what is the best correction compound?
I mean, I like Jescar. I think it's the most versatile, not the most aggressive. But I just bought ACA 500 from HD, and is it called HD? The Green Company. 3D. Sorry, 3D. Is it 3D? What the heck is wrong with me? 3D Chemicals. It's the freaking green one, ACA 500. And then I bought Sonex Cut Max. I like Cut Max. Just after the experience of doing M101 on the whole M5, I need another heavy cutting compound. So I'm going to try those two out on something soon.
All right, Chase from Facebook says, will Tool Grid be replacing your current choice of bathroom drawer organization?
No, I mean, it's black and red and blue, so that's not going to work. The KMN Home thing, it almost seems like I want to kind of buy the rights to that from that company and help take it to the next level. It's like they never really put any effort in or to develop any other products around it. But Toolgrid does have intention of branding something in white and like a cream colored for the home. But the possibilities are endless for that kind of stuff. But I would love to have that for all of my kitchen utensils and bathroom stuff. But
right.
The black, I think, would, with blue and gray, I don't think it would look very good.
Mike chimes in from out there in his office. 3D is the name.
Yeah, 3D.
There we go. 130 James Dean on Instagram says, any chance you'll ever own a Golf R, Cayman R, or GTR? If you already have, what did you think of it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm kind of beyond those. When it came in GT4 instead of a Cayman R. GTR is not really my bag. GTR is more of a Type A car where you just want to try to go as fast as possible. I think they sound good and they look pretty cool, but I've just never had a desire for one. And again, the other two, I'm kind of beyond those. I have better cars than those, so it wouldn't make sense for me to go backwards that way if I can help it. I guess the way it would is if I crash and burn and fail in life, then I would aspire to go back to one. But where I'm at today, I mean, with a GT3 RS, I think I'd like to try to stay there if I can.
All right, this is from Nicolay on Facebook. I used your recommended vinyl cleaner, Meguiar's Heavy Duty Vinyl Cleaner, to try and remove old wax from my vinyl soft top, and it did not work. Tried a sponge, microfiber cloth, and a stiff plastic brush to agitate, but no luck. Do you think I should use another harsher cleaner to try and remove deposits, or will I risk damaging this vinyl?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is it's probably seeped in too deep into the fibers, and it's hard to get out. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you're screwed.
Well, he says, I have Meguiar's APC. Is that safe to try? Would I be better off using a solvent of some sort?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, some say you can try peanut butter, pencil eraser. But once it gets into the fibers, if it's like your vinyl soft top, it's usually not coming out. A steamer would probably be your preferred steamer, and a little bit of all-purpose cleaner. Just kind of steam it in there and try to steam out the content of the polish.
Is there any simple way to remove mild corrosion and rust staining from an aluminum engine block?
I don't know about that.
Sounds like something your dad might know.
Yeah, I think it would be some sort of wire wheel, but it's aluminum. I don't know. I mean, some sort of metal polish on a metal polish wheel. Yeah, I don't know. I've never done that.
All right. Let's see from the chat here. Optimum X. I need to remove some old factory PPF. What would you recommend for adhesive removing?
Well, you'd want a steamer to try to remove as much of the PPF as possible without having to deal with the adhesive, and then I would use Tarex for Carpo Tarex for the leftover adhesive at the end, and then of course you would clay and polish afterwards. But yeah, Tarex should do a good job with getting that off.
Joe wants to know, could you give us some insight as to plans to offer custom-length rubber filler hose solutions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I left another guy a message that Parker's blowing me off. Parker Hannafin, I talked to him at SEMA, they make machines. They make machines that will take ferrules or pieces of metal that you can then crimp onto hose. And I'd like to have one of those machines. They're $10,000 to $20,000. I'd also like to source stainless ferrules, so I could do all stainless fittings on the end of hoses. But generally, those machines you can adapt to do different types of fittings. You could do ferrules for hydraulic, for garden, for pressure washer hoses. So I want to be able to make those kind of things. So I'd like to have rolls of hose. Both Continental Frontier, the ContiTech Frontiers that I use, and I guess they only make it in blue and red. But I'd love it if they had other colors. Maybe find another black hose or white hose or something like that, and also be able to make Cobra Jet type hoses as well in whatever length we need. Especially if I'm doing a lot of garage design, we'll be needing to do a lot of custom length stuff for boom poles. Both the inlet and exit of boom poles. And then I'd love to just be able to provide, hey, you need a 41.25-inch bucket filler. I'd like to be able to make it. And we could charge a premium for that. I mean, I know I would pay for it. To say, hey, I really need a 37-inch pressure washer hose, jumper hose, because I have a weird situation in my garage. And let's say that it would cost you $55 or something like that. I'd pay for that. I don't plan on gouging anybody, but if I could do it, let's say I had a certain labor cost, certain allocation of machine cost, and then of course the product cost, and then add a margin to that. I know everybody would pay for that if they needed something specific, and then they could make that special request, and we could build it on the site where people could choose length, and we can just make them, and give us a couple of days to make them and stuff like that, and we can eventually, I can almost hire someone and appoint them to hose making all day. So yeah, I'd like to do that.
Tim in the chat here says he's close to pulling the trigger on an OG Comet setup. Mm-hmm. Does the water inlet come threaded to accept GHT, and are the Comets in stock now? Yes, they are in stock now.
Yeah, the fitting, there's a funky adapter fitting that converts BSPP to GHT. That kind of works, kind of doesn't. I think the latest ones are pretty good. So, and yeah, we got we've figured out how to get them to people. We've done a lot of work, and now they have the new box. I don't think we still have a bunch of the original boxes. So don't panic when you get it. They take the main unit out of the actual box and put it in this kind of janky other box. But then we take that box, put it in another box, and retape everything up. And so it gets to you. And then come the next probably 2 months from now, they have a new single box that everything comes in. They invested in that.
Let's see. Jason on Facebook says, Matt, what's your favorite coating prep and why? What do you feel has the most lubricity to finalize paint with before applying a protectant or coating?
I like CarPro Eraser the most. If you need something really heavy and nasty, you would use G-Technics Panel Wipe, but you wouldn't want to spray that directly on the paint. Your Geon Prep is very similar to CarPro Eraser, so either one of those would be my favorite. They smell nice. It seemed to be a little less scrabby than using just regular isopropyl alcohol.
Matt says, hey Matt, I just finished putting 1/2 plywood on my garage walls. It's mainly used for ATV or snowmobile storage, so I did not want sheetrock. What would your recommendation be for the ceiling?
I think I would probably want to cover that with some PVC or something like that. They have some really cool PVC designs. The issue is you'll never be able to get rid of all the grain of the plywood, so it looks kind of cheap. So look into getting like 1/8 inch PVC, and a lot of times they can print those and make them look however you want, and putting that over the and they can usually do it in different colors. Putting that over the plywood. We're going to be looking into that at the CrossFit. Is how could we? I don't want to have just plywood walls. I'd like to have something that kind of finishes that. So we're going to look into PVC as a solution for that.
All right, Chris on Instagram says, I don't have a pressure washer yet, so I wonder if there's a hose nozzle that's not hot garbage when used for washing a car.
Yeah, I would use the Ely. It's $75. It's really expensive, but it's super stout. That's what I used to wash for quite some time. So put a quick disconnect. Probably actually put a dram valve on there, a valve that you can turn it off and on, so you can switch between using like a Gilmore Foamaster 2, which a little garden hose foam cannon, and then you can switch back to the Ely. And I would use my the hose that we have, the ContiTech Frontier hose, the blue hose that we have.
Let's see. Bring Your Wood Screws chimed in, says, Matt, I'm your guy for this. Flooring on the walls is a phenomenal solution.
Yeah, that can work. The tricky part is we have a lot of wall to do. But yeah, we can't do any kind of you couldn't do any kind of tile because we'll be doing handstand push-ups and they'll crack the grout lines and things like that. So I need something somewhat flexible that you won't kick through from the the vibration of people slamming their feet up against the wall.
Adam says, this year I'm wanting to paint my garage and install lighting. What paint do you guys recommend, and should I worry about mildew when washing in my garage?
Yeah, you do have to worry about that. I like flat paint, and even with the deficiencies of flat paint in the garage, you can just walk up and touch it up all the time. No one freaking washes their walls. But if you're doing your garage and you're going to be washing in there, I think you want at least green board. So you'd probably want to put a layer on top. If you already have drywall in there, you'd probably want to put a layer of green board, which is the moisture resistant. That's what I have in my wash bay, just because of the humidity. But really, you'd probably want to put cement board in there, so you don't end up with issues of water if you're going to be washing a lot. Yeah, I like to use flat paint, either Sherwin-Williams Cashmere or Super Paint in flat, or Benjamin Moore, like the Benjamin Moore Ben line. I find that when you do kind of the gimmicky, markety versions, like each paint manufacturer has like a high-end version of paint. Sherwin-Williams called Dura, something like that. But those paints are really just kind of a hoax. I like to stick with their best like commercial grade version. So you do like Sherwin-Williams. I always do Pro Classic on all the trim. Pro Classic semi-gloss, or maybe like an eggshell on the trim. Like we did, I think, an eggshell on all of our trim in our house. The disadvantage of doing flat paint is that it is more susceptible to marks, but then you just touch it up often. You don't have to roll out the whole wall. Sheens are white trash fancy, so stay away from that unless it's trim.
Hey Matt, do you have any plans for your birthday next week?
Who's asking that, Michelle?
No, Tim something.
Yeah, I don't do birthday stuff. I take that off of Facebook. I hate that superficial happy birthday crap. Leave me out of it.
Yeah, send them a
Then I have
birthday
to
card.
thank them and all that bull crap. I mean, I turned 40. I thought about having, it would have been cool to have like an open house thing, but that's too late. I didn't plan ahead, and I don't want anything. I just want to be left alone.
That's funny.
Call me Eeyore.
There you go. January 9th is the big day, the big 4-0. Let's see. Digital Lemming says, I hope you all had a great Christmas break. Have you, or would you consider doing a big European road trip with any of your cars? There's some great roads in this part of the world, in particular Scotland.
I have zero interest in that.
I'd like to come to Scotland, Digital Lemming, but Matt
I wouldn't mind going there, but I don't really want to take it. I don't like road trips at all. I like to ship my car to the place, drive around, and then ship it back home. I hate that sitting in the car, driving for hours on end. I'm just not doing it. I refuse to do it. I'm not driving anywhere outside of an hour and 20 minutes. I'll get on a plane. Because at least in a plane you can relax, you can watch a movie, you can... Yeah, I'm not doing that. No frickin' road trips.
John Batty says, I saw that you had a Rupes Sustainer unboxing video this week, but haven't had a chance to watch all of it yet. Along those lines, have you thought about offering a modular toolbox system like those from Sortimo, Tanos, Sustainers, or something else for guys that have tools, accessories, fasteners, and other small parts to organize in their garages?
Yeah, I mean, those would be longer-term chases for me when I've run out of everything else. Then I start to get like, 'cause I would love to have one of those for like in the house, because my tools are all the way outside. So have something like that I can keep in like the utility closet, which I'd like to redo here soon. So I think that'd be a little longer term for me. But yeah, I'd like to chase stuff like that.
All right, Tyler wants to know if there's any update on the PF22 foam cannon, the next generation.
Yeah, they should be available any day. I've got the thing in there. Just put it on Bryce's desk to take photos of it. I think 5,000 are coming, and I have a large percentage of reserved. Same thing with the bottle, to replace the bottle on your PF22, not the PF22.2. And then I'll be working and talking with, at least giving my thoughts on PF23 for 2021. But yeah, it should be here soon.
Daniel wants to know if you have any updates or if you have thoughts on the compounds and polishes that you posted about on Instagram while you were at SEMA.
Cook Chemi, I don't know. I haven't heard much from them. Their whole idea of what they're going to do in the U.S. it's really odd. So I don't know what they're planning on bringing, like 3 products or something to some janky wannabe dealers, and it's going to be a frickin' mess. So I'll just wait for them to figure out what the heck they're going to do. Because I don't know why, but I just don't feel like marketing the product for them for some goofballs to benefit all from it. So I don't know. I just got a real bad feeling about how they're planning to approach it. But I also don't want to discount if the product's fantastic. I don't want to, let that would be what you would call an opinion, right? That an opinion would creep into my, my discussion of the product. I don't have to sell everything that I use, but I would like to. I'd like to be able to provide end-to-end solutions. And so I just gotta, back to this specific knowledge, my spidey senses are tingling. I think the product looks really cool, but these companies just don't know how to do it right. All of them. All of the Europeans that come over here and they should just call me. I'll tell them how to do it. Let me do it. I'll do it for you. But no, they want to do it wrong. Rupes did it right. They're the only ones that did it really. And look at them, and they've got a 50,000 square foot facility. They hired Jason Rose and Dylan. I mean, just world class individuals. But they didn't even do that right away. It took them a little while to come over here. So Rupes listened to the Americans on how to market to Americans. But you have to know how to listen to the right American. Not, you don't want, they're going after jobber detailers. That doesn't make any frickin' sense. Love your detailers, but you're not the people to market a product. It's just not. That's not the way to do it. You're going to market it to the 15 people that you know because you're too busy working. You're not a marketer. It's just the way it is. And so what ends up happening is a lot of these foreign, the companies, they get pitched from a detailer that they know of that they met through someone who knows someone, and then they're going to get into the distribution game, but they don't know how to distribute. It's not easy. It's freaking hard. They don't know how to build a website. They don't know how to tell a story. They know how to polish a car, and that's very, very different. And so I don't know how that's going to go.
All right, Mark wants to know, would a Rupes short neck or long neck be good for polishing a gauge cluster?
Either one will probably work. The short neck, again, is a lot easier to operate one-handed, so if you can't get two hands up in there, a short neck might be a little better, but in general, the long neck I find to be more useful.
All right, Mac Media wants to know, where did you get your tool foam inserts?
Those are all from Sonic. So they're Sonic Tool specific. And then Tool Grid would be the other product that we would use to complement that.
All right, so that's all the questions I see for now, but I wanted to talk about, you got some travel coming up. Do you want to talk about your VinWiki adventure?
Yeah, we're doing, I've started sending everything up. I don't know why I procrastinated so long on this, but I finally got going on sending all the stuff up. Now I'm scrambling and doing what regular people do. I don't like that. I just procrastinated too long on it. But I think we got everything, so we'll get everything up there. Mike and I are flying in on the 18th. We're going to be there through the 25th, so we're there for 7 days. I booked a freaking Airbnb. That'll be the first and last. They're emailing me like they need my full name, my birth date. They need my city, and like they're running a background check. And I thought Airbnb was just for people to share their homes with each other, and so now it's gotten all goofball, white trash, commercialized, in order to save $20. There just isn't a hotel nearby, other than a Motel 6, and so otherwise I wouldn't be doing this freaking Airbnb bull crap. Chris is so excited because he got a $30 voucher for it. It's so stupid. It's like it's like flying Southwest. How do you live this life, Chris? Oh my gosh. It's so frustrating. The lady, I gave her, I said, what do you need that for? Just Google Map Mormon. Everything you need to know is there. Why do you need all this crap? I don't mean to be difficult, but it's a $900 for a week for this place. It's not like $9,000. It's $900. What are we going to steal your freaking Whirlpool toaster? Just Google my name. So give them all this information to go do a stupid Airbnb. I'm like, I stay at the Ritz-Carlton. I don't have to give them my birth date. Give them a credit card and you walk in. There's a lot more expensive stuff you could steal from the Ritz-Carlton than some goofy Airbnb crap. So anyway, I got an Airbnb. So it's become these wannabe business owners, buying these crappy properties, and then it becomes very, very all this fine print you gotta adhere to. So I'm doing an Airbnb. We're staying there. Mike and I are gonna go fly in there, and we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna get it all set up from start to finish in a week or so. We're gonna shoot tons of videos. I'm working on getting Milwaukee to send tools there. I haven't heard back from them, but I'm going to call her today. Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. So I'll be in Atlanta for the week. And I already have a couple of people to kind of help us out. But so Ed doesn't really, he's pretty private for that. He doesn't want like a descendant or people descending on his property. So he doesn't want to open it up his house like I do. So we're going to go and build it out. I'm going to tell some stories for the VinWiki channel, and we'll be the sponsor of the channel for the month. And yeah, so I ended up getting too lazy, and a lot of the stuff I didn't even get sponsored. I just freaking bought it. Crap, I got to call Swiss Tracks today. They're dodging me.
Yeah, so that is the 18th to the 25th. All right, then after that, we got a Houston trip coming up, the 29th.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't really want to do. So I called Joe. Joe knows best. He and I will, do something, shoot some video. I'm gonna go see FIAC air compressors. I got to call them again today. 'Cause I want to stop in there and see the compressors and talk about doing rotary screw, compressors. And they also have that portable, that wall-mounted looking thing that's self-contained hose reel / compressor. I'd like to talk to them about. And then I'll be doing a tour of the Shell facility, which I think is going to be kind of I think it's going to be kind of goofy. I want to talk to like the real people, and I think it's going to be kind of contrived and being a bunch of other YouTube people. And I don't like to do anything the other YouTube people are doing because, again, it's totally contrived and totally unoriginal. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can get some valuable information out of why Shell V-Power. And then don't I come right back? And then Mobile Tech is like that day. So I got to make sure that I book that trip tight so I get back on the 31st because Mobile Tech, we're going to be shooting me getting IDA certified. So that'll be kind of fun. I want to have a bunch of like high level pros come up and watch me take the test and give me a hard time about it. I think that'll be kind of funny.
And where's that? Is that in Orlando again?
That Mobile Tech is in Orlando, but then they're going to come up here. So Bob Phillips and Levi are gonna certify me or not. We'll see. That'd be even better. See if I'm certified, and I think that'd be kind of cool. And then, but I would try to convince them, those two, and have Rennie come up and a couple other pros, and have them have Jason Kilmer and Andy Ward come up here and have them just tear me a new one while I'm doing it. I ain't scared. And that'll be kind of fun to say, nope, yep, don't pass, not good enough. You don't know what you're doing. So I'll be getting SV, skills verified, so I get another patch. I really just want the diploma for the wall. And then right after that, don't I do something else?
There's Color Lock training event on the 4th and 5th of February.
Yeah, if you want to do that, email Kyle, or even better, go to Color Lock's website, Color Lock. I think it's colorlock.us. Color Lock spelled wrong, COLOUR. COLOURLOCK.com, I think, something like that. Just Google it, and they have a training area on their site, and OG training is, what were those dates? February something?
February the 4th and 5th.
Yeah, February 4th and 5th are here, and then so Mobile Tech is after that.
No, you said Mobile Tech is January 31st.
Oh, then G-Technic, the G-Technic's Crystal Serum Summit, so I'll be back in Atlanta again. And then I come back from that, and then we go to Phoenix a couple of weeks after that. We'll be working with Cox to develop some garden hose reels, vacuum hose reels, different colors, swivels, hopefully getting our hoses preloaded into their air reels, and then our power cords preloaded in the power cord reels and stuff like that. That's the plan there. Lots of things that I'm not going to want to do any of them when it's time to do them. I'd rather just stay home and play with my toys. But I'm trying to get the Corvette up and running so I can drive the darn thing, and then frickin' sell it. It's coming together nicely though. Somebody's going to want this thing, but I hate it. It looks cool though. Those wheels look sick. Oh, and then I'm working with Kyle from Adams, who was head of product development for Adams, I think he's on the marketing team for Vossen, and so he and I were texting back and forth this morning about trying to get me and Adam LZ to go down to Vossen HQ and take a tour, and then build the Tag Motorsports version of the VS1, or I think it's called VS1-01 RS, which would be wheels for my GT3 RS to get rid of that green stripe. My AWE exhaust should be here shortly, so I'll be doing a video series of the install and flybys on that. I really do want to get rid of a couple of cars, the M5 and the Z06. I mean, I'm never even driving my GT3. It's like I want to narrow it down for a little while and really focus on the cars that I have, focus on the garage design, sell those, free up some capital, and just get those off of my plate. I'd like to, again, detail the M3. So all three cars, the Raptor, the M3, and the GT3 RS, all will need to be detailed coming up here. So those will be mega series coming up. So Monday I should be starting the GT3. I'm sorry, the Z06 detail series. That's the plan. Lots coming up.
All right. Well, we'll be back here next week, the day after Matt's birthday. So be prepared.
Don't
to
wish me happy
shower
birthday.
him with
Stupid
birthday wishes.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we got for today.
Yeah. All right. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for listening and watching. See you.
If we're still live, here is the coupon code for 37% off between now and January the 31st. I'm done. I'm giving out the coupon code.
Oh, you're giving.
Yes.
Okay.
So don't cut me off.
Today. That's I won't tell you.
Code, yes.